legal expert, Ms. Tiz, is here in the house from Recover, your
Good
personal injury
morning.
attorneys. So, Tiz, sorry, good morning. How are you?
Good, you?
Good. So good to see you again. So
You
Tiz is going to
too.
be joining us the first Thursday of every single month. And of course, she has been patiently waiting. I know a lot of you were like, oh, keep the premiere on longer, but we don't want to be rude to Tiz. She's been waiting since 9 o'clock, folks, to tell us all about the different types of personal injury that you can actually, the types of damages that you're entitled to in a personal injury claim. So, Tiz, welcome back to the program. And do tell us a little bit now about what is it exactly that we're talking about. When we hear the word damages, what does that even mean?
Right. So, generally, when people are involved in an accident, they think that automatically the insurance will fix their car and maybe pay for a medical bill if they visited a doctor, and that's about it. However, and then they're scared to reach out to an attorney because, of course, we're known to send big legal bills. But that's not the case anymore, and definitely we offer free consultations. So before you sign any papers or make any decisions about your the future of your case or your injury, we would encourage that everybody reach out and call us for a free consultation. We're happy to help or have you in for a meeting and just share our thoughts about the
Mhm.
process. So besides the car repair, people are entitled to receive general damages. General damages are compensation for your pain and suffering.
Mhm.
So if you received a broken bone in an accident, then there are the award of general damages covers you for the pain and suffering and your loss of amenity, which is how this injury has affected your life and will continue to affect your life in the future.
Mhm.
So, in the Cayman Islands, how we assess the value of general damages is, the courts will look at the judicial guidelines, which stem from the UK, and also look at reported cases similar to the injuries that you've sustained to kind of come up with an assessment of what the damages are.
Mhm. Hmm.
So
Okay.
that's your pain and suffering. But then there's a whole bunch of other things that people also are not aware that they can claim in a personal injury lawsuit,
Mhm.
and those are called special damages, and it's basically a big um, umbrella of different things, which I can go through one by one if you'd like.
Absolutely. Yes.
Sure. So the biggest one is special damages are designed to put you back into the financial position you would have been in had the accident not happened. So the biggest one I can think of is a loss of earnings. Okay, so you're in an accident, you're not able to work, you're injured. The insurance company should be able to cover those wages, not only the wages that, like, if you're off work, but if you're not able to return to work, or if you have to work in a different capacity at a lower rate, that is something that would be covered under a loss of income claim.
Mhm.
Another
Okay.
thing you would be entitled to is treatment and rehabilitation and care costs. So, if your doctor is advising you that you need treatment and you don't have the funds for it, this is why the insurance is there, and it should cover your treatment and also your future treatment if you need if you need that into the future, which your doctor would tell you.
Mhm.
There's
And
another
to
category.
be clear, treatments, especially rehabilitation, can take a long time. So how do you figure out what, because you might start off doing treatment anticipating maybe 10 sessions and then end up needing double that or more. So how does that work in terms of compensation from an insurance company, and how do you figure out, how that's going to eventually play out for you?
So we encourage our clients to go and see their doctors and report their symptoms. So
Mhm.
obviously, if the doctor recommends, 12 sessions of physiotherapy or chiropractic care, and then after those sessions, the client's still not feeling good, then they have to reassess and either recommend physio, or more rehab, or try a different route, or maybe you might need an MRI if things are not resolving, and a further investigation to see what exactly is the injury, and if it can be fixed, or if it's something that after a year or two, the pain is still there, that becomes chronic, and then you're dealing with a chronic pain issue, which probably you would need a specialist to be looking after your care as well.
Mhm.
So we don't encourage that you rush out and settle your injury claim right away, because you don't know what the future is going to bring. And then if you do settle prematurely, that's it. You don't have another chance to go back to the
Mhm.
insurance company and see if they could cover you for any other medical bills or investigation, because you've basically signed your off on your rights to pursue the claim any further.
Mhm. Good point. Okay. What other types of, under the heading of special damages are there?
So there's a category called gratuitous care, and that's for people who are not able to care for their daily needs by
Mhm.
themselves, and they need, let's say, there's a family member around that's been giving them care, that's have to take a leave from their job to be around the person who's injured, to help them bathe, or to make their meals. That is something that the injured person is entitled to recover back from the insurance company.
Mhm.
There's also other equipment. For example, if you have a back injury and you're at a desk job, you may need a special chair or special device, or a different screen or something that would help you do your job better. That would help you, deal with your injuries while you're at work. Those types of
Mhm.
things can be claimed as well in your claim.
Mhm.
Um, Also, home modification. So if someone's in a wheelchair and they live in a tiny apartment, and the door is too narrow to fit a wheelchair, they would need some home modifications done to their residence, and the
Mhm.
cost of those can be recouped in your claim.
Mm. Okay. Very good.
Uh, Going down the list, there's also like damage or loss to your property. So not only your vehicle, but let's say you're wearing eyeglasses
Mhm.
and they cracked on upon impact, and you need to buy new ones. That's
Mhm.
something you can put forward into your claim. If your clothing got damaged,
Mhm.
or ripped, or was had to be cut off of you in the hospital,
Mm.
the cost of replacing those items is also claimable.
Mhm.
And then the last thing I have here is travel expenses, which if you, for example, you need to be seen by a specialist that is not on island, and you get a referral out to Florida or Colorado or whatever state elsewhere, then
Mhm.
the flight costs and your meals and everything that you've had to incur as a result of the accident to seek medical attention are also covered under your claim.
Mhm. All right, so I'm just pulling this up on the screen a little bit. Hopefully, it will help people see this a bit more. So, again, folks, if you're listening to the program, we have Tiz from Recover, just going through the different types of damages that exist. So, whenever you get in an accident, it's not as simple as, oh, just fix my car. Everything from travel expenses, loss of property, perhaps special types of equipment that you may need if you're physically injured, gratuitous care if you need help of a caregiver, rehabilitation. Donna has a comment. She says that I had whiplash over 25 years ago. The insurance company had us sign off when they settled, and now is when the mess really trouble you. So again, thinking about future impacts from accidents that you may come into, any sort of personal injury. Iron Lion says, what statutory limitations apply to claims generally?
That is a great question. And in general, it's 3 years,
Mhm.
especially for motor vehicles, it's 3 years. But then
Mhm.
when you get into other types of claims, for example, if you're injured at work and you work at the port, or if it's a government entity,
Mhm.
though that window of time could be reduced as little as 3 months. So it's
Mm.
best that you consult with an attorney right away to just
Mhm.
know your rights, because the worst thing that could happen is, you have a claim, but you waited too long and you're out of luck.
Wow. Okay. Good to know. All right. So then we've got generally, how do you go about receiving, or when are you actually going to receive your compensation?
So that really depends on who you're dealing with on the other side. So
Mhm.
just taking the example of a car accident, we would hope that there would be insurance, that the other driver that caused the accident would have insurance. And in that case, it's pretty straightforward. We deal with all the insurance companies on this island, and they're usually on board to getting you some treatment, and then eventually settling your case
Mhm.
without having to go to court.
Mhm.
However, not always is that the case. So there are, more difficult cases where there's liability in dispute. Liability is who's at fault for the
Mhm.
accident. So when there's issues of liability, insurance companies take a harder position, and sometimes we have to fight it out in court. So obviously, that process would drag on a little bit longer than that. The other issues that could arise are if there's no insurance.
Mhm.
Then you're dealing with going after a company or an individual that is not covered, and um, we can proceed to get even a judgment against that person, but then it's a whole other problem to enforce the judgment against somebody, especially if they don't have property here, or if they don't have a good job that you can go after their wages, for example. That gets a little bit tricky as well.
Mhm.
So it really depends on the situation.
Right. Mhm. Okay. And then, how much is my serious injury claim going to be worth?
So again, that's just a very broad question that cannot be answered in a general sense, because it really every case is different, every
Mhm.
individual is different, every injury is different, every person recovers differently or at different rates. Some don't recover. So we really work with the individual client, and we keep on assessing the status of their injuries and their healing, and then we come up with a plan as to when we think a good time is to usually when they're more stable,
Mhm.
and the injuries are not getting better or worse, is when we can try to figure out what would they need into the future, and
Mhm.
then propose that to the insurance company and see if we can come up with something that both parties are agreeable to.
Mhm. All
But in
right.
the interim,
Mhm.
like some people, have an accident, and they have broken bones and they're not able to move around, and that's they need the care right away. So in those situations, we would approach the insurance company or the court and apply for an interim payment so that we can get them a little bit of money to get them started on their rehabilitation journey, and then see how they progress. And maybe they need some more down the road, or maybe not. And that's another way that we can get them funds. Um, and it's called an interim payment.
Mhm. Now, tell us a little bit about Recover, because we do have Brenda saying that, they need to change labor laws because a lot of people, to coincide with, one has to go through to hire a lawyer, because a lot of people can't afford a lawyer, and ultimately a judge will decide how much you'll be compensated. So, why is it important to get an attorney? And why are you guys the right ones to be calling, especially when it comes to personal injury?
Okay. So, the average person out there did not go to law school, does not know enough of the laws to understand what their rights are and what they could be entitled to. And so that's why we really urge people to call us and find out more information. So knowledge of the law is the first thing. The second thing is that we offer contingency fee arrangements. So that's something relatively new, and I think we're the only law firm on the island that offers that. And so, you know, if you hire us, you're not getting a bill every time you call us. We work on your behalf until we get you a settlement, and if we don't get you a settlement, then we don't get paid. So, I mean, that's a pretty good deal for people who want access to justice and can't afford it. So I think that's a really good step in the direction for the government to implement that law, because it opens the doors for people to get legal advice and not have to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, lawyers are known to have very strong negotiation skills. So that's another reason why you would want to have someone fighting for you on your behalf against insurance companies who also hire lawyers and have a wealth of resources to spend on experts and people to help defend them, or not have to pay you what you deserve. So you should have the equal opportunity to do so. And we offer personalized legal advice, right? So you come in to us, you explain your situation, and you get the tailored advice to your case. You might need more evidence. You might need to, you might need to collect witnesses, things that you never think that you would need. But this is all about, like, if you're going to court, it's about proof. What can you prove about your injury and how it happened and what your damages are? And that's how you recover. So why reach out to us is because we do offer that free consultation to give you a chance to speak to a lawyer for free. And then we offer a no fee on a no win, no fee basis. So you come to us and you get representation without having to get a bill every so often. So, I mean, there's no downside. You should call us anytime you or your family member or your friend is injured and somebody else is at fault. You should call us before you sign a legal document, just to get, a second opinion as to, is this fair? Is this right? When the insurance company is saying it's your fault and it isn't, you should call us and get that second opinion. Or if the insurance is flat out refusing to pay you anything and you're feeling overwhelmed and you can't deal with it because this is just another stress on your daily life, then you should know that we are here and we're willing to help.
All right. And Donna has a question. She wants to know, what's the fee? Is it based on a percentage of what you get? Is it like an hourly rate? How does that part of it work?
So the fee is a percentage. So, the more that we can recover for you, the better it is for us. So we're motivated that way. And if you'd like to know what we charge, I'd urge you to call us and come in for a consultation, and we'll walk you through everything.
Okay, Miss Brenda says it's good to hear their firm is now providing these services. So one of a kind, folks. Recover personal injury attorneys. They can be reached at 929-9999 or 749-9999. And you can certainly visit their website, which is recover.ky. So Tiz is going to be joining us every single month, the first Thursday of the month, to kind of bring you guys up to speed. You'll learn a little bit more information from her about, what personal injury is, how this process works. Today, we review the different types of damages, because again, I hadn't thought of a lot of these different headings. And this is why you want to hire someone who is indeed an expert in the law, because they will know exactly what sort of questions to be asking of your insurance company or the other party, and asking the right questions to get you the most recoverable money for your injuries your personal injuries, your property injuries, and so on. So this is absolutely fantastic. So any final thoughts, Tiz, before we let you go this morning?
I just would again encourage people to, this is relatively new on island, and a lot of people don't know about us. So if you know of anybody who, is in a bad spot and had something happen to them, it doesn't have to be a car accident. We also have some clients who, had a medical emergency and their insurance company says, we're not covering you. And, they get a bill of $50,000 for an emergency surgery. These are the types of people that we like to help, because they obviously they get a letter from the insurance company, we're not covering you, and they're, in a shock. They don't know how they're going to ever be able to, cover that bill. They're scared of collection agencies coming after them. And it could be a case of just the insurance company made an improper denial. And so, we're happy to consult with you on those types of things as well.
Very good. All right, folks. So again, Recover, they're the ones to go to. Tiz, we thank you so much for joining us again, and we will see you next month on Thursday, the first Thursday of the month.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.
Recover Personal Injury Attorneys, helping injured people get what they deserve. Did you know that insurance companies have lawyers that represent their interests? Before signing and accepting any settlement, know your rights. Call us today for a free consultation at 924-9999. That's 924-9999. Recover. Your personal injury attorneys are on standby to assist.